Hello everyone, welcome to Giving Context Stack Framework version in ChatGPT course. ChatGPT for backend engineers. In this module, I will train students to always start by giving context. Okay. Whenever you write some prompt and you provide some good context, you'll you will get a better answer. Okay. So I will talk about those techniques and context matter a lot. Suppose I ask ChatGPT, please write me a code in Java. Please write me a code to list print employees detail using Java. I got this answer from ChatGPT. Okay. Now I provide some context. This is one answer. Using Java 21 and Spring Boot REST controller using Spring Boot 3. So REST controller basically create some kind of REST API. Okay, so please write me a code to print employees detail using Java 21 and Spring Boot REST controller using Spring Boot. So I will get a list of employees as a REST controller. Okay. And see, record employees. This is not available in Java 8. So as I provided the context, and you see the difference in the response. Okay, first is this. It will save my time. I don't need to create extra class for this thing. Okay, I'll get a very exact answer what I needed. Okay, so context can be like Java 21, Spring Boot 3.2, build tool 11, database, Postgres implement REST endpoint. Okay, example prompt without context. First, I do this. Show me how to call database in Java. Let's see what happens. This code will certainly work. Okay. There are many issues that I will explain you. Okay, but we will never use this kind of code in the production. Okay. It is not easy to maintain this code. First thing is this. Second thing is there are many things messed up in this piece of code. This is like providing information about database, URL, user password. This is SQL query, and is that configuration stuff. Then they're preparing SQL query. Yeah, so if you're learning Java, then might be this code is like good for you, but in the production environment, this is not good at all. Now I provide a context. Mm, okay, okay. This is the context. Spring Boot 3.2, Java 21. Show a minimal example of repository interface. Okay, first thing is this is the entity class which is created. This is a repository is created. This is service class. Okay, repository minimal example of repository interface. Service that fetches user by email address. So this service is communicating with the repository. Yes, it is fetching email from the repository and returning it back to the most likely the controller. Okay. So this is a minimal example of repository interface and service that fetches user by email address. As I provided the context and I got relevant answer, what I exactly needed. Okay. ChatGPT responding to I have Spring Boot 3.2 app with Java 21 and Spring Data GPA. I need minimal user repository service method to fetch a user by email. Return only interface and service method, no explanation. So that's what we got in the previous example. Okay, now we have something different. Asking for minimal compilable code. Stop student from getting 300 line monster and start getting small usable snippets. Key talking points. Always say minimal example. Okay, smallest possible working example. Phrase to teach. Give me minimal compilable example under 30 lines. Controller, service interface, and the unit test. Okay, so minimal example also it's easy to understand. Okay, now I think here we have a task. Hmm. No comments, no explanation, no extra classes. Okay, so I have to exclude few things. No comments, no explanation, no extra classes. Don't include pom.xml application.yaml unless I ask later. Example prompt. Context Spring Boot 3.2 Java 21 Maven task. Give me minimal compilable example of REST controller with single get endpoint hello that return a string hello world. Constraint one Java class, no comments, no explanation, just code. Okay, so I copy this prompt and let's see what happens. REST controller, get mapping, name, this REST method, and there's a simple method. It's easy to understand and we can begin with it. Okay. Yeah. Show first messy response log, then show how adding one minimal. Okay. Now I try to mess up. So if I want to mess up, I can write a simple. Okay. This is the messed up response. Basically, when we write controllers, we or anything we want from ChatGPT, we have to provide it like this context. We provide context, and we provide the task, and we provide the constraint. Okay, so ChatGPT could understand and get our things done. Okay, here we have got a minimum mini exercise. Okay, and that we will do minimal Spring Boot controller that return list of three dummy product and enforce minimal code. Okay, so here I copy this prompt. Okay, so now I have to use the paid version because I have crossed the limit. No problem. I have a paid version of ChatGPT which I will be using. However, it is using old. I'll be using some GPT-4. Give me minimal. Give me a minimal and compilable Spring Boot controller that return a list of three dummy products. Let's see. Okay, so I have got all imports, all possible imports. There is this thing and see. The advantage is I am providing it a context and see I'm getting like what exactly needed. Hmm. However, this code is also not so good. There is an issue in this code too. In whenever we do programming with object-oriented, whenever we do object-oriented programming, we have to follow a principle of single class responsibility. However, this code is not following the principle of single class responsibility, but that is another concern. We'll talk about it later. Okay. So yeah, this is what I wanted, and that's what I got. One class. Yes. See, I is a constraint one class. Let let's yeah. That's the reason. Follow single class on C. Let's see what happened. Okay, so that is gone. Like this main class is gone, Spring Boot application is gone. However, this is allowed. I think it is allowed. Okay, but for this purpose, creating a new class doesn't make too much sense. So, so yeah, it seems quite acceptable. Okay, okay. Asking to explain, not just answer. Okay. Make ChatGPT a teacher, not just a code printer. Okay. Key talking points. Use explain this like I'm a junior. You're explaining this to a junior backend developer with 1 years of experience. Explain these three parts. What these annotation does, what happened at runtime, how would I test this? Use short paragraph and simple language. So explain in 3 steps. Give me summary at the end. Give me three interview styled question. I should be able to answer after reading this. Here I have an example. Okay, context and task and constraint. Here is a controller method, improve the naming, and I have to write a code. Okay, so I put this controller again. Hmm, let's see what happens. So here I got a suggestion. So task was improve naming if needed, then explain the flow like I'm a junior developer, suggest two unit test. Okay. Rename suggestion, flow explanation. It creates a new base calculation record with hard coded ID and save it to the database. Get mapping, then build object, save to the database, return response. Important note, even though the method is get, it is performing write operation. This is against the RESTful best practices. Okay, it's a pretty good explanation. You should ideally use post mapping for creating resources. ID is hard coded to one L. This may cause primary key conflict if same ID already existed in the database. It's another good explanation. Post mapping, remove hard coded IDs, and I got some suggestion for unit test. Should have waste calculation and return 201. Should handle repository exception gracefully. Okay, so I got result way I want it. So this seems quite good explanation. Now I move to the next slide. Ask it to compare options. Explain pros and cons of web client versus REST template in Spring Boot for calling external APIs. Talk to me like I'm a junior. Okay. Yeah, I provided context so it would be helpful because these things also exist in Spring Boot 3.2 and let's see. You wanted to call external API like OpenAI payment service from your Spring Boot. Okay, REST template the old way, web client is a new way. Okay. Cross web client, new standard with Spring 5 plus. Spring team recommend web client for all new development is in maintenance mode. You can make non-blocking HTTP request. So your app doesn't wait for response, better for performance and scalability. So if you are using Webflux or one reactive programming, then web client is perfect. But you can still use it in normal apps. It supports streaming, web sockets, multi-part uploads, more powerful for complex scenarios, and it has a steep learning curve because in reactive programming you have to learn about two different concepts, mono and flex, but that is out of the context. So I'll not discuss it. If you want to call API get result, code can look more complex at first glance. REST template is old and deprecated. Easy to understand look feels like plain Java. Good for quick prototype or legacy code. If you are working in old app, writing a quick demo, it's fast. Every call wait until response come back. Not great for high traffic or scalable system. It's deprecated in Spring 3.2. Spring team says one more thing in the last lecture we learned about that we must not trust everything what ChatGPT say. Okay, we have to recheck. REST template in Spring Boot 3.2. Mhm. Okay, so I do not see any option of deprecated. Let's see. Okay, deprecated list. Okay, yeah, REST template builder. So REST template is also okay. It is. It seems that yeah, it is deprecated. Okay, it is important to recheck whatever you learn from ChatGPT. Okay, mini exercise. Give them a short Spring controller. Ask them to write prompt that asks ChatGPT to explain it like Junior. Ask pros and cons and ask for two to three follow-up questions they can ask themselves. Okay, so now I create a prompt and then I ask ChatGPT. I ask about Spring data. Please explain me about Spring Data, Hibernate, and JDBC. And Ask ChatGPT to explain it like junior. Ask for pros and cons. Ask, please explain it like junior. Please explain 2 to 3 follow-up questions. Okay. Now I've got constraint. I got task, got context, task, and constraint. Let's see. ADBC, full control over SQL, lightweight, fast, work with a lot of boilerplate code. So you, yeah. Okay. Hibernate is follow ORM. So it converts Java classes into database table and handle SQL automatically. So this is the advantage of Hibernate. You don't need to write SQL most of the times. Easier to map complex data, support lazy routing, caching, transition. More magic, harder to debug, can generate inefficient queries if not careful. Learning curve, there is a learning curve because we need to know about JPA notation lifecycle. Spring data built on top of JPA Hibernate, it removes the need to write queries for most use cases. For most use cases, okay, you just write interface and Spring implements for you. Okay, built-in paginations sorting, integrated with Spring Boot like magic. Yes. Yes, in case if you have performance issue, especially from the context of SQL, then you have to write complex queries yourself using SQL. That I was thinking, and that's what I got. So yeah, JDBC is better when performance is critical or when you want control over SQL. Can I use custom SQL with Spring Data? Yes, there is an option, query annotation, or write native SQL or JPQL. Is Hibernate required to use the Spring Data? No, but it is default JPA provider. You can switch to others, Eclipse or some other. So yeah, I got pretty good answer. Okay, so provide. Here is another prompt pattern for everyday work. Okay, so provide simple reusable prompt recipes. Cover three main patterns. Refactor this use cases, clean up messy service method, extract small method, and improve naming. Okay, okay. So this is what I wanted to do, and now I will show you a live example. Okay. Mhm. Context. You are like Spring Boot 3.2 Java. You are senior Java engineer. Task. This is a task, and now I have to paste the code. So I have a bad like some unstructured code, I would say. Okay. Now I paste this code here and let's see. Okay. Okay, so now it seems quite good, I would say, because it looks much better than this code. Okay, so yeah, this is the advantage of using ChatGPT and providing context and following this structured prompt. Okay. So now move to the another example. Okay, sorry. We already touched this, but here is a clean template. You are mentoring junior Java backend developer. Task: explain the following code. Explain what this code does in plain language. Life cycle of follow step by step. No more than three short paragraph and avoid buzzwords. Okay, so this is a here is a code. This code defined utility method that take input image input, downscale it if it's too large, remove transparency metadata, compress it to JPEG with specified quality. Result is specified resized image in JPEG format, return as byte array. So first step, it read the full input stream into memory. It check image size, scale it down proportionally. If it's longer side exceed, it draw the image into RGB canvas, then write to JPEG with given compression, explicitly stripping metadata like EXIF or passing null for metadata. One non-obvious part, image.io, return iterator over example JPG writer. So this is the explanation of this code. Okay, so I just created an application in which I am optimizing images. So that code I pasted and it has given me quite good explanation. Okay, so far what I understood. So yeah, this is another pattern and it is really good explainable to a junior developer. Okay. Okay, now we have a third pattern. You are senior backend engineer. Task: review this method from performance perspective. Okay. Please point out obvious performance issue, unnecessary, suggest specific improvement. If you suggest changes, show improved version of method. Keep your answer short. Okay. Now I have to do another task. Now I paste this code. Let's see what happens. Right. Okay, sure. Here's a performance-oriented code. Your method is well structured, handle common concern like scaling, removing transparency, stripping XF, return in a JPG at controlled quality. There are some performance issue. Redundant read into byte array. create full copy of image into memory, create second copy in memory. Large images, this can cause significant heap pressure and garbage collection overhead. If retry reuse is not truly needed, reading directly once is more efficient. Okay, is slow and can be replaced. Is not optimized. Java built image IO is not optimized for performance. Does not support all image type consistently. It load metadata color profile you're not using, which is waste. Graphics too is rescaling quality. Oh, I've got so many issues. Okay, so this is the improved version of the performance code. Oh, yeah. So we are having so many good things from ChatGPT. So that review analysis, review from the perspective of performance and security style can also be done using ChatGPT, provided we provide correct context and correct constraints. Okay. Okay. So you are senior backend engineer, experience in security, Spring Boot REST API, review endpoint potential security issues, and this thing. So I will provide you all these prompts, uh, especially if you are subscribed to this course, you will certainly get all the prompts. Uh, yeah, Spring Boot. Okay, so I put another controller class, not this one. Only this one, I would say. Hmm. Okay, so here I got the feedback that input validation has an issue, like missing file type validation. Okay, although size is locked, there is no enforce of max size, no null empty checks, authentication issue, pre-authorize must be configured. Okay, missing rate limit. Oh, there are too many issues. Yeah, so this is the review, and yeah, at the as I mentioned at the end of this lecture, you will certainly get all these templates in the docs MS Word format. Okay, this is the last one, I think, last review template. You are a senior Java developer who cares about clean code. Task: review this code for readability and maintainability. Paste code here and please point out unclear naming or responsibility. Suggest how to split things into smaller methods, classes if needed. Keep your feedback in bullet point. So now I adjust my prompt. Okay, I have to paste my code here. lacks symmetry and clarity. Rename to something like estimate calorie from image, estimate EU allergens from image. Okay, image file. Okay, this is a very cryptic name. The method size and separation of concern is doing too much. Extracting, processing, calling, logging, handling exception. So I must create separate methods. Okay. Summary of suggestion, rename variable and method for clarity, split complex controller logic into helper methods or services, remove commented or dead code, extract magic number into constants, reuse error response method, add image validation, move image processing to dedicated image processing service. Mhm. Okay, so this is the feedback we got. Okay, so yeah, thank you very much for watching this module, and we will see you in the next module.